And one thing very interesting about these pastimes is that they follow very well-known and very powerful pastimes. And these are little pastimes that are little but wonderful. Now this one, the first one that we'll hear, follows the first meeting of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Glory, all glories to Sri Krishna Caitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself. He is the lamp illuminating Navadvip, and he is the lion that attacks offenders. He chants a fixed number of his own holy names each day on a knotted string. And all glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the master of all that lives. All glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the master of Nityananda Prabhu and Gadadhar. All glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who becomes the submissive servant of Advaita and the other devotees. O Lord, giving them the gift of pure devotional service, please deliver the poor people of this world. Having attained the association of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the devotees became overwhelmed in bliss as they happily relished nectar topics about Lord Krishna. They became intoxicated by tasting this nectar, and they roared with great happiness. No. Later we can. As Lord Nityananda looked at the devotees, he saw streams of bliss flowing from their eyes. And observing this, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said to Lord Nityananda, "Please listen, O Sripad Nityananda. Where will we hold your Vyasa Puja ceremony? Tomorrow is the full moon day of Shravan, the day in which Vyasa Puja is celebrated. Please speak what is in your heart about this subject." Understanding Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's hint, Lord Nityananda smiled and he placed his hand on Srivas Pandit's head and said, "O Vishwambara, my Vyasa Puja will be at this young Brahmana's home." Lord Chaitanya then said to Srivas, "A great burden is now placed on you." And Srivas replied, "My Lord, it is not at all a burden. By your mercy, my home already has everything within it. Cloth, mandala, jagya sutra, ghee, betel nuts, betel leaves, all ready for the ceremony. I need only a book, that book that describes how to perform the ritual. Tomorrow, I will become very fortunate, for I will be able to see the Vyasa Puja ceremony." Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased with Srivasa's words, and all the Vaishnavas roared, "Hari Bol! Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then began to speak. "Listen, O Sripad. Let us now all go to Srivas Pandit's home, and let us make it auspicious by chanting the names of Krishna." Thus, accompanied by all the devotees, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu departed. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda looked just like Krishna and Balaram, surrounded by their servants in Gokul. And simply by entering Srivasa's home, everyone felt the intense bliss of Krishna's presence. And then, by the order of Lord Chaitanya, the doors were closed and except for relatives and close friends, no one could enter. Then Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave the order, begin kirtan. And as the sound arose, the external energy went far away. Thus, the day before the Vyasa Puja ceremony, a great kirtan began in the house of Srivas Thakur, and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they danced together. And some devotees were shouting, others roaring, some devotees fell unconscious, others wept. Sri Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu, they trembled, they perspired, they fainted in ecstasy, they wept, and the hairs of their bodies stood erect. Who can describe their ecstatic symptoms? The two lords danced. At one moment as they chanted and danced, they embraced, and the next moment they wept. Each of the two lords wished to grasp the other's feet, but because both were very intelligent, neither could succeed. Overcome with bliss, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda rolled about on the ground, and they forgot who they were. Chant! Chant Krishna's name, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu screamed, and his entire body became covered with perspiration. For many days, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had longed to meet Lord Nityananda, and he lost awareness of the external world as he floated in an ocean of bliss. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he danced so gracefully and so enthusiastically that his feet touched his head. When Lord Nityananda's feet struck the ground, the Vaishnavas thought the whole world was trembling. And then, to reveal the truth about Lord Nityananda's identity, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the mood of Lord Balaram, and he sat down on the Singhasan, the throne of Lord Vishnu. As if wild with intoxication, he called out, bring wine, Madhu, Madhu, Varuni, Varuni. And to Lord Chaitanya, to Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then said, at once, give me the plow, give me the club, Gada. And accepting the order of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda placed those items in Lord Chaitanya's hands. Although some were unable to see, others saw this with their own eyes. They saw Lord Balaram's plow and club. Accepting these from Nitai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became like a madman. Varuni, 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 he loudly called out, and no one understood the Lord's desire, nor did they know what to do. Everyone just simply looked at one another. And finally, someone offered a pitcher of Ganga water to the Lord, and he began to drink. Surrounding him on four sides, the devotees recited prayers to Lord Balaram. The Lord then loudly began calling out, Nara, 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 as if intoxicated. Again and again he nodded his head as he called out, Nara, Nara, Nara. But none of the devotees could discern, they could not understand who the Lord was calling for. And then one of them said, O Lord, who is Nara? Please tell us. And the Lord replied, he is the one who called out for me, and he caused me to come. You call Nara Advaita, Advaita, Advaita Charja. And it's because of him that I descended to this world. For it was Nara who brought me here from Vaikuntha, and it is he who now happily stays with Haridas. I have descended, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have descended to this world to begin the Sankirtan movement. In home after home, I will make people chant Krishna's holy names. And persons who are mad after academic learning, who are mad after wealth, who are mad after their family, absorbed in material knowledge and dry austerity, these people naturally commit offenses to my devotees. And to these lowly people, I will not give pure love for Krishna. But to the people of Nadia, I will give pure love for Krishna. I will give love that delights Brahma and all the demigods. And hearing this, the devotees floated in bliss. The next moment, the Lord became peaceful. He became sober. And he returned to external consciousness and said, was I restless? Did I speak amazing things? The devotees replied, you have done nothing incorrectly, our Lord. The Lord then affectionately embraced everyone, saying, please don't ever be offended by my behavior. And when the Lord spoke these words, all the devotees smiled. Then, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, they began to roll about on the ground, wrapped in ecstasy, wrapped in a trance, while Lord Nityananda accepted no restraint, for he was overcome with the nectar of love for Krishna. One moment he laughed, at the next moment he danced, the next moment he took on the mood of a child, and he remained clothed only by the four directions. When peaceful and grave Nityananda became restless, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him, and immediately he became still. Be still, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said. Tomorrow you will see the Vyasa Puja ceremony. And after pacifying Lord Nityananda with these words, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu went to his own home, and while Lord Nityananda stayed at the home of Srivas Thakur, all the other devotees returned to their own homes to spend the night. But late at night, Nitai began screaming, and he tore apart his sannyas danda and kamadalu, and he threw all the pieces here and there. And at sunrise, Ramai Pandit awoke, and he saw the broken danda and kamadalu, and he was very surprised. He told everything to Srivas Pandit, and Srivas said, go to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and tell him the news, tell him what Nitai has done. Immediately, upon hearing what had happened from Ramai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he saw that Lord Nityananda was devoid of external consciousness. He was in an internal mood, an internal ecstatic mood, and he was laughing wildly. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu picked up the danda in his graceful hands, and taking Nityananda with him, he went to bathe in the Ganga. Srivas and the other devotees also came, and they saw Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu throw the danda in the Ganga. But restless Lord Nityananda, he would not pay attention to anything. He would not hear anything anyone said. And for this, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu chastised him. Then Nityananda looked into the Ganga water, and he saw a crocodile, and he decided immediately to jump in and catch it. As Gadadhar and Srivas were screaming, "Hi, hi!" Lord Nityananda fearlessly swam in the middle of the Ganga. only Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's words would stop Nitai. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu called out, "Come at once and perform the Vyasa Puja ceremony." And hearing this, Nityananda Prabhu came out of the water and he went to the house of Srivas Thakur with Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. There, in Srivasa's house, all the devotees gathered, and there was a sound coming from the mouth of each and every devotee of Krishna's holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. It was continuously being heard. Krishna, 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 continuously, without stopping. So don't let the holy name stop. Srivas Thakur became the head priest for the Vyasa Puja ceremony, and as everyone sang a sweet, sweet kirtan, Srivas's home was transformed into the spiritual world. Learned Srivas Pandit began the rituals. He first placed the beautifully splendid fragrant garland in Lord Nityananda's hand, and he said, "Listen, listen, O Nitai, please offer prayers and bow down before Vyasadeva. He is pleased, and he will fulfill the desires of anyone who, following the rules of scriptures, offers a garland to him." And hearing these words, Nityananda Prabhu said, "It is so, it is so." Still, he did not understand anything that was being said. Srivas patiently repeated his words again and again. "Please give the garland to Srila Vyasadeva. We want to please Srila Vyasadeva on this day. Please give him the garland." Still, Nityananda Prabhu did not understand anything, and he stood with a garland in his hand. And saintly Srivas called out to Lord Caitanya, "Your Sripad Nityananda will not worship Lord Vyasadeva." And hearing Srivas's words, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu at once came before Nitai, saying, "Oh Nityananda, please hear my words. Offer the garland to Lord Vyasadeva. Worship him." Nityananda Prabhu looked at Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and at once he placed the garland around his head, which beautifully circled the Lord's curly hair. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then manifested a six-armed form, holding a kansha, chakra, club, lotus, gada, and plow. Gazing at the Lord's six-armed form, Nityananda Prabhu fainted in ecstasy. He fell to the ground, and he showed no sign of being alive. The Vaishnavas became frightened, and they began calling out, "Oh Krishna, Krishna, please save him, please save him." And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Jagannath Mishra, he then began to roar, and he placed Lord Nityananda on his lap, and he continued roaring loudly like thunder. And with his own hands, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu picked up Nitai, and he said, "Rise, rise, Nityananda, please be peaceful. Carefully listen to the chanting of Krishna's holy names. You descended to this world to bring the chanting of the holy names, and your mission is now successful. You are made You are composed of pure love for Krishna. If you do not give pure devotional service, O Nityananda, no one can attain it. O Nityananda, control yourself. Get up. Look at your friends. You can give pure devotional service. You can give love for Krishna to anyone that you please. Even if someone worships me. A person who has even half a sesame seed worth of hatred or envy for you will never be dear to me. Hearing Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's words and gazing at Lord Chaitanya's six-armed form, Nityananda became filled with bliss. Nityananda Prabhu never leaves the mood of being a servant of Lord Chaitanya. In his heart, Nitai thinks, Lord Chaitanya is my master and I am his servant. Day and night, no other words come to his mouth other than, I am his servant and he is my master in every way. Anyone who offers prayers to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and to me, and who glorifies me, Nityananda Prabhu said, as a servant of Lord Chaitanya, that person will certainly attain me. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur says, to please Nityananda, I have described how he gazed at Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's six-armed form. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu resides in Nityananda's heart. There, they both gaze at each other. Of this, there is no doubt. While looking at Lord Chaitanya's six-armed form, Nityananda became satisfied. Anyone who hears this description of Lord Nityananda's gazing at Lord Chaitanya's six-armed form will become free from the bondage of repeated birth and death. Lord Nityananda then returned to external consciousness and he began to cry. The tears flowing from his two lotus eyes flowed like a river. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said to everyone, the Vyasa Puja is now complete. Please, begin Kirtan. Accepting the Lord's order, everyone became blissful. The sound of Krishna's name suddenly arose in the four directions, and the two brothers, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, they danced together like madmen. They were unaware of the external world, and all the Vaishnavas became overcome with bliss. Some danced, some sang, some rolled on the ground, and some held the feet of other Vaishnavas. Hiding, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, Sati Devi, who was indeed the mother of all the worlds, she gazed at these blissful pastimes, and within her heart she thought, these two, they are both my sons. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur says, only Lord Ananta Shesha has the power to describe the great glory of this Vyasa Puja festival. I have written this in sutras, in very short form, and I have thus described a little of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. A person who in any way glorifies Lord Krishna attains auspiciousness. For the remainder of that Vyasa Puja festival day, the devotees accompanied by Lord Caitanya, they happily danced. The devotees became mad with bliss. They began calling out, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna. They called out Krishna's names until tears poured from their eyes. And after some time, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became peaceful and he approached Srivas Pandit. Bring at once the food that was offered to Lord Vyasadeva. And when Srivas brought that prasadam, Lord Caitanya distributed to everyone with his own hand, and the devotees blissfully honored the prasadam. Calling whoever was in the house, with his own hand, the Lord distributed food to everyone. The servants and maidservants in the home of the Vaishnava, Srivas, thus attained the very sacred food that Brahma and all the demigods think themselves very fortunate to attain. Everyone in the home of Srivas Thakur became blissful. Who has the power to describe Srivas's good fortune? For every day the Lord enjoyed his blissful pastimes in Srivas's home. And the two moons, Sri Krishna Caitanya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, are my life and soul. And I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare the deliverance by Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu of Jagai and Madhai. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur says, please closely examine the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, for it is so deep that even Shiva, Sukadev and Narada cannot find it in their meditations. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu enjoys limitless and inconceivable pastimes in Navadvip, although he was unrecognized in the same way as a fish in the water does not understand the true nature of the moon. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Jagai and Madhai lived as very religious persons in Nadia. At sunrise, they would humbly bathe in a very secluded place in the Ganga. And every day they chanted 2 lakhs of names of Krishna. Moment after moment, they chastised themselves. And they always chanted Krishna, 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 Krishna. And they wept, always tasting the pure nectar of their love for Krishna. And they were always appreciating the mercy that they had received from him. And when they remembered their previous sinful and violent activities, they would weep and fall unconscious to the ground. They would call out, "Oh Sri Caitanya, oh Savior of the fallen," remembering Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his mercy upon them again and again. Practically speaking, they wept continuously. Filled with the bliss of remembering Krishna, they did not worry about eating. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates were kind, and they always comforted them. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself personally came and gave them prasadam. But still they were not peaceful in their hearts. When Madhai remembered how he had attacked Lord Nityananda, he wept piteously. Lord Nityananda had forgiven all of his offenses, yet Madhai could not forgive himself. He remained unhappy at heart. "I made blood flow from Nityananda's body. I made blood flow from Nityananda's body." He would speak these words as he rebuked and chastised himself again and again. "I am a sinner. I attacked the body of someone who enjoys pastimes with Lord Chaitanya." Remembering like this, Madhai would fall unconscious. Day and night he wept. He thought of nothing else. Lord Nityananda, he used to wander around Nadia. Both day and night he happily wandered. He was always blissful, and he always thought of himself as a young boy. Humbly would wander throughout all the towns and villages of Nadia. And one day, in a quiet and secluded place, as Nityananda Prabhu was wandering, Madhai came across him, and immediately he fell down and held onto the feet of Nityananda. He washed the feet of Nityananda with tears of love. Madhai placed a blade of grass between his teeth, and he began to prayerfully glorify Nitai. As Lord Vishnu, you protect the worlds. As Ananta Shesha, you hold the worlds on your hoods. Your transcendental form is devotional service personified. Shiva, Parvati always meditate on you in their hearts. Devotional service is your property. And because you kindly bestow it upon others, no one No one is more dear to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu than you. By your mercy, powerful Garuda happily carries Krishna in its pastimes. With your countless mouths you praise Lord Krishna's virtues. You teach everyone that devotional service is the best of all spiritual activities. Narada Muni sings your glories, and your great treasure is Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. As Baladev, you divided the Yamuna, and by serving you, King Janaka attained transcendental knowledge. You are the Supreme Personality. All the truths of religion rest within you. You are the Father of the universes. You are the Master of Yoga, and you are that great bowman, Lakshmana. You crush all the universes. Excuse me. You crush all the atheists. And you are the great teacher. And you are the great Lord who enjoys transcendental mellows. You know everything about Lord Chaitanya's mission in this world. Because the goddess Mahamaya serves you. Because of that, she is worshipped throughout this world. The countless universes seek the shadow of your feet. You are the greatest devotee of Sri Caitanya. You are devotional service personified, and you carry with you all of the power of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. You are Lord Chaitanya's bed, you are his throne, you are his couch, you are his chapter, umbrella. You are the treasure of his life. You are not different from Krishna. You are all of the incarnations of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. You kill all the atheists and offenders. Still, oh Lord, please save me, for I am a fallen person. You protect all the Vaishnavas. You teach the science of Lord Krishna's devotional service. By your mercy, the demigod Brahma creates the universes. Revati, Varuna, and Kanti all serve you. From your anger, Maharudra is manifested. Through him you destroy the world. You do everything, but still you yourself do nothing. You are the master of the countless universes. You hold everything to your chest, and yet your blissful body is very soft. The Lord Krishna enjoys pastimes of resting on your body. That graceful body of yours, I attacked. No one is more cruel, and no one is more sinful than I. Goddess Parvati and Lord Shiva's 900 million maidservants, they worship your transcendental body. Even by remembering your transcendental body, one becomes free from the bonds of material life, and from your transcendental body, I made blood flow. By serving your body, King Chitraketu easily became the first Vaishnavas. And I, a great sinner, attacked the body that countless universes meditate on. By serving your body, Shonaka and the other sages of Namasharanya became free from the bondage of birth and death. By attacking your body, Indrajit ran to his own destruction. By attacking your body, Vidvid perished. By attacking your body, Jarasandha ran to his death. And I attacked your transcendental body. I cannot be happy. Rukmi, Krishna's brother-in-law, insulted you, and he had to give up his life. He had been benedicted to live as long as Brahma. Romaharshan Sutta had been benedicted to live as long as Brahma, and he found his long life burned to ashes when he did not rise upon seeing you. And when King Duryodhana insulted you, he and his kinsmen lost their lives. No one could save them, and only by the words of Kunti, Bhishma, Yudhisthira, Vidura, and Arjuna, Duryodhana and his kinsmen were saved. To what hellish world must I journey to? For I have violently attacked you, O Nityananda. Speaking and speaking in this way, Madai floated in an ocean of spiritual love. He held tightly to Lord Nityananda's feet, and he held them to his heart, to his chest, and he prayed, anyone who holds these feet will never die. You have come to this world to save the fallen souls. Oh Father, please save this surrendered soul. You are Madai's maintainer. You are his life. You are his wealth. All glory to Padmavati's son. All glory to Nityananda, who is the treasure of the Vaishnavas. All glory to the blissful Lord, who is free of all anger. O Lord, please forgive the surrendered soul's offense. I am a cruel outcast. I am ungrateful. I am a poisonous snake. Please forgive me. Hearing Madai's emotional prayers, Nityananda Prabhu smiled and said, Rise, rise, Madai. You are my servant, and I remain present in your body. When he is hit by his small son, does the father become unhappy? I think of your having hit me exactly in that way. Anyone who hears your prayers, Nityananda Prabhu said, will become devoted to my feet. Madai, you have attained my master's mercy. Therefore I cannot find even a single sesame seed worth of fault in you. Anyone who worships Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is my very life. Yuga after yuga, I will rescue such a person. And anyone who worships me but does not worship Sri Caitanya, his worship brings pain to me. And such a person suffers birth after birth. After speaking these words, Lord Nityananda happily embraced Madai, and Madai became free of all his sufferings. He held tightly to Lord Nityananda's feet, and he spoke again, placing another request before Nityananda Prabhu. He said, Lord, you reside in the hearts of all living beings, and I have done violence to countless others. I do not know all the living beings I have violently attacked, and if I knew them, I would beg forgiveness from them. How will the people I offended ever forgive me? Lord, please be merciful to me, and tell me, please, how I may counteract my previous cruelty. What should I do? Lord Nityananda replied, listen, O Madai. Please build a bathing ghat by the Ganga. And when the people find it easy to bathe in the Ganga, they will bless you. Service to the Ganga breaks offenses into pieces. For what better blessing can you attain than that? Greet everyone humbly and bow down before them. Everyone will then forgive your offenses. Madai accepted this advice. He circumambulated Nityananda Prabhu many times. He chanted Krishna, Krishna, and tears fell from his eyes. And gradually he built a bathing ghat by the Ganga, and that was to everyone's amazement. watching him building that ghat. They became filled with wonder. Madai offered Dandavat obeisances to everyone who visited the ghat. He said, please be merciful. Please be merciful and forgive all my offenses. Please forgive the offenses I have committed knowingly or unknowingly against you. Madai would then weep, as would everyone else, as they would blissfully remember Krishna. Hearing of and noticing the great change that had overtaken Madai, the people of Navadvip gathered together and they glorified Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. They said, Nimai Pandit has changed Jagai, and he has changed Madai into people of the highest character. Nimai Pandit is not a human being, and not knowing the truth, wicked men criticize him. Nimai Pandit truly glorifies the Supreme Lord. He truly is a servant of Krishna, and anyone who mocks him will perish. Anyone who can turn two sinners, Jagai and Madai, into good men must either be the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, or at least a person to whom the Lord has given his power. And now Nimai Pandit's glory is openly known. In this way, the people of Nadia noticed Jagai and Madai's changed hearts. These two could not even associate with anyone who blasphemed the Lord. And Madai began to perform severe austerities, and people began referring to him as brahmachari. He always stayed at that bathing ghat and always would look at the Ganga. With a shovel in his hand, Madai worked very hard to build and maintain the ghat. Even today, that mark of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is still present, but everyone still calls that bathing place Madai Ghat. How great is the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. For by his mercy, two horrendous thieves and offenders were delivered. The narration of these pastimes of Sri Caitanya are a great treasure, but they are hidden even from the four Vedas, and only demons are unhappy to hear his pastimes. Please, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, please hear them with great attention. The two moons, Sri Krishna Caitanya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, are my life and soul. And I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Vishnu Bhakti Mansa Bhakti Gachara Satara Simanakalan Grace Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Anand Koti Vaishnavindi ki Skantan Charada Srila Prabhupada ki Prem Si Gaur Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan ki Sri Vrindavan Dham Sri Navadvipa Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulasi Devi ki Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki all glories is some Lord, all glories is some Lord, all glories is some Lord, all glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Nitai Gaur Premanande.